All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's Walk-in Tubs webinar. Most of you likely found this webinar after researching walk-in tubs on ConsumerAffairs.com, so we thank you for trusting us as you navigate this big purchasing decision. Consumer Affairs exists to give consumers an advantage when they need it the most, matching consumers and brands together in hundreds of categories, including many senior-focused categories like medical alert devices, stair lifts, hearing aids, and of course, walk-in tubs. Our goal today is to help give you the information you need to make a more educated, informed decision as you continue down the path of researching walk-in bathtubs. We're going to answer as many questions as possible today, so go ahead and feel free to start submitting those. There should be a Q&A button under your toolbar. You can ask them there, and we'll get to as many as we can. Some quick introductions. My name is Ryan Glanzer, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. I am the Director of Lifecycle Marketing here at Consumer Affairs. Also from Consumer Affairs is General Manager Jay Butler, who works closely with leading brands in the walk-in tubs category and has extensive knowledge on the topic. And joining us from American Standard, one of the industry's leading walk-in tub manufacturers, is Director of Marketing Eric Kozak. Eric was among the very first to bring walk-in tubs to the U.S. market and brings an enormous wealth of knowledge to us today. Today, we hope to help answer the question for you, is a walk-in tub right for you? If you answer yes to any of these following questions, it probably is, or you're on the right track. Are you planning to stay in your home long-term and age in place? Do you look at this tub as a long-term investment in safety and independence? Many seniors do. Walk-in tubs help achieve the goal of living at home long-term and avoiding a care facility by cutting down on falls and other bathroom accidents and injuries. Do you have the space to accommodate such a tub? Can your bathroom handle a walk-in tub as it's currently constructed, or is a remodel necessary? And of course, the big question on most consumers' minds is whether or not a walk-in tub is affordable. You've probably noticed many manufacturers don't list prices on their websites. They require you to get in-home estimates, and there's a very good reason for that, which we'll cover in depth shortly. Before we get into your user-submitted questions, just another reminder, feel free to submit those questions using the Q&A button in your toolbar, and we'll get to as many as possible today. First, though, I'd like to tackle some of the broader topics, some of the more common questions, and to talk a little bit more about the key features and benefits of walk-in bathtubs. I'm going to turn the floor over to Eric. Now, Eric, obviously the big draw of walk-in tubs is the low entry step, the watertight door, the built-in seating. What else can you tell us? What else do walk-in tubs offer in the way of comfort and safety?
Yeah, there's a number here. There's a number of features that tie to the benefits as well. And of course, all of these that are listed are all really good reasons and benefits. The low threshold entry, built-in seating for safer access. That's probably one of the key points is, customers that are buying these are buying them because they make a person who might have mobility issues safer in what is probably one of the most dangerous areas in the home, which is the bathroom. The number one area for falls happens in the bathroom. The number one reason for injuries that occur is slips and falls for people that are seniors. And so the bathroom becomes a very dangerous place. A lot of those slips and falls happen in the wet area, right? It's slippery, there's water, and people are lifting their legs up, trying to position themselves onto one foot in order to be able to do that. So the low threshold entryway with a door makes it really easy for a customer to get in and out. The other thing that the walk-in tub does is the built-in seating, right? So from a bathing perspective, we have two options, really. One is we can stand and shower, or we can lay down in a traditional bath tub in a prone position. Now, both of those solutions can be problematic for a customer with mobility issues. Balance is one thing if you're standing up, and just the strength to stand for an extended period of time is another kind of risk there. But the other scenario that happens is if you have a traditional bathtub, you're laying down prone, and that is a very difficult way to take a bath, to get in and out and get up and down. It's difficult for even people without mobility issues to be able to do this. So this is one thing that the walk-in tub provides is that ability to sit down. You're not in a prone position, you're sitting down in a comfortable, relaxed position that allows you to be able to get in and out of a bathtub. The flooring and the grab bars help reduce the risk of falls, and usually a manufacturer and installer installs grab bars. And if you're looking at bathtubs, definitely look at the flooring to help with the resistance of slipping. A couple of the luxury kind of benefits that happen, right? Some of these tubs come with options for hydrotherapy jets. Ours certainly do. 22 jets that kind of circulate throughout the tub. They're great for relieving pain, arthritis, anti-inflammatory. It's kind of like sitting in your own personal spa. And of course, having controls easy to reach gives it an easy to use kind of scenario, whether the person's using it independently or if there's caregivers involved. And the door is another great example of the benefit, right? So you're able to close the door and take a full bath, fully immersed, right? You are fully immersed into this bath rather than, having water kind of hitting you or being in a prone position where maybe your shoulders are exposed or anything like that. But what happens after that when you want to get out? A lot of these tubs, and again, ours do this as well, offer a system that allows the bath to drain rapidly. So you don't have to wait for the bathtub to kind of drain out from gravity taking the plumbing kind of process.
Eric, I mean, you and I were chatting the other day, and I think two features that you had called out that I think it would be interesting for you to hear a little bit more about and why they're so important, because I think they often get glossed over. One is the one you just mentioned, the fast rating system. There's clearly a lot of benefit there, both from a safety standpoint and from just a comfort standpoint. And then the other one we haven't talked about here is the heated seat. I mean, heated seats are not always an option, but oftentimes they're opted for, and I think it's something that most consumers that we talk to on the consumer affairs side and not to think about those two things probably as much as they should until they start talking to you on your end.
Yeah, they're great examples. Yep. I don't think that I can emphasize enough the quick drain system, right? This is a system that allows the drain to pump water through the plumbing, right? Rather than having a natural drain that a normal bathtub would have. This allows, in some cases, in our case, I can only speak to our case, but it allows the bathtub to drain in about a minute, which is super fast. If you're kind of looking at natural draining systems, it could take upwards of 7 to 10 minutes, maybe even longer, depending on the size of the bathtub that you have. So that feature, if you are looking at a bathtub, I would take that as a high consideration. Now, most of these tubs do come with heated seats as well. That's a benefit feature that's more on the luxury side of things. It just allows the customer to sit down, and as they're sitting down, because you have to sit down and then allow the bathtub to fill up, your bath is you have an ambient temperature that's not like cold and you're sitting down on a cold seat as you're waiting for the bathtub to fill up. That could be like, shock inducing a little bit. So this just helps kind of alleviate that in as you're getting the bathtub to fill up.
Great. Thanks so much for that, Eric. Those of you who may have just joined again, feel free to ask any questions on our Q&A. You may have to click the More button from your Zoom toolbar, and you'll find the Q&A box there. We'll get to those at the end. The next topic that, of course, is on everyone's mind is cost. If it weren't a sizable investment, you may not be here today. So, Eric, can you speak more to entry-level costs, add-on costs, financing plans, discounts, anything like that?
Yeah. This is a great question, and this is a great topic. It's probably the number one topic that we find with our customers. Just like cars and anything else, there's always like levels of options that you can get. If you're looking at a base model of a walk-in tub, it's going to be substantially less than what, adding on a lot of premium features might be. Now, a base model for a walk-in tub will probably be just purely functional. You may not have the warm heated seat. You probably won't have a quick drain, although for ours, even our base models do have quick drain technology that are built in, but a lot of them don't. So you have to take that into consideration. Things like the hydrotherapy jets may not be included in the base model. Things like the grab bars and the kits that help a customer in and out may not be included in the picture that you're showing there shows a shower setup as well. You may not get that in a base model either. And so all of these are sort of options that you can add on to your tub as you're kind of looking to explore what you want. Now, when I think about the features and the premium features that you can add on, we covered a few of them, but there's also others that you can kind of add on as well. So, for example, in our full, luxury and top of the line walk-in tub, we have features like aromatherapy, which comes with scented beads that you can put into a holder, and it heats up those beads and allows a scented aroma to give this spa-like experience. Now, for some people, they really want to enjoy that spa-like experience. That's something that they want to add. Another feature that we include in ours, and some people also include in theirs, is chromatherapy. Chromatherapy is a color displays that light up the bath and allow your bath to turn bright blue or bright orange or bright red, or whatever the color is that you want. It allows those kind of chromatherapy relaxations from a sensory standpoint. So you've got therapy options, you've got chromatherapy options on the high end. When I look at, what would be standard, premium options, that if I was putting a walk-in tub into place, I would really want to consider quick drain would be one of the things that for me would be non-negotiable. Like I would just want a quick drain to be installed in that tub, no matter what my range of affording could be. The second would be hydrotherapy jets. Personally, I love sitting in a whirlpool and just relaxing. And this is like your own personal whirlpool. And it's really, really relaxing. And it massages out aches and pains. I'm a tennis player. I get, aches and pains all the time. I do spend a lot of time in whirlpools. So those are just a few of the options. So you've got a lot of functional options that you could look at: shower fixtures, quick drain. Definitely look at the quick drain as being an essential. If you have partners that may want to shower that are in the house, you would definitely want to have a shower fixture for that as an option as well. And then you could look at some of the more premium add-ons as you're looking at your range of options. When I think about cost, of course, right? All of these options do add incremental cost to your tub. And it just depends on the manufacturer or the provider of those tubs on what those costs are. So I don't know what the range is of the different prices from the premium add-ons that you can add on industry-wide. I don't really even know what our exact premium costs are for those things, but you could just expect that as you're kind of adding on premium additions, just like a car, if you want those leather seats or you want, other kind of luxury-driven options, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. Financing options, if I could continue down the list, financing options are widely available. This is it's an investment into your home, and it's not an inexpensive option. There's costs to this. So most providers, installers, and manufacturers know this, and they will offer financing plans depending on who you're working with. They'll have either a third-party provider for financing plans, and a lot of these options are pretty attractive. I can just say for us, we offer 12 months no interest financing, and that's sort of kind of I think the best that you can possibly get. Of course, there's also options if you are talking to a provider. If you are looking at paying for cash, there's probably a discount that you can get by paying for that, just upfront from a cash perspective. There's a lot of other discounts that can help as well. When we're dealing with senior citizens or aging in place customers, we do offer AARP membership discounts, and we offer, kind of this incentive for these customers to help the cost of the tub more affordable. Now, there's other sources that can help cover these costs, but I want to give a word of caution to these sources, right? So Medicare in the past has helped cover these costs. This was years ago. I'm not sure if they still do it anymore, and whether there's state aid or tax deductions, I would say it varies from state to state, and whether you can get deductions for the installation of this. I would talk to your accountant to see if you do qualify. When we put in efficient heating into our home, we were able to get a tax deduction and tax credit for being able to put that in, and there might be something there. There is benefits from the VA that you can explore as well. But here's my word of caution, right? Most of the work that has to be done here for the Medicare or the VA benefits or any of these things require submissions and paperwork and all of these things. So if you're talking to a provider who's kind of, leaning in and saying, oh, you can help Medicare pay for it or VA's benefits pay for it and things like that. They may, but I would my word of caution is like they also may not, and it may get disapproved. It also takes an extremely long time for these to get reimbursed. And by the time you do get them reimbursed, it could be months down the road. So we don't really kind of cover this as when we're going through our solution providing for customers as being an option that we would, count on from a reimbursement. It's good for the customer to explore. And I would also say that most providers will not be able to help with the paperwork or the VA benefits. It's rare that they can submit it on your behalf. So it will require a lot of paperwork for the customer to be able to do this. So, maybe, but I would say if that's going to be the make or break on whether you're going to get a walk-in tub, I would say, don't count on it as being essential to, you covering the cost.
A couple of notes I'll make, Eric. That was really helpful. Thank you very much. From the consumer affairs lens, we actually do have the benefit of kind of seeing across the industry and what other brands are doing. Cost is generally the primary question topic that we get from consumers. And Eric had a really great point, which is the tricky part about that. Our objective at Consumer Affairs is really to do the research for you and then educate you and help you understand what your options are and connect you with those best brands possible for your needs. There really is no way for us to accurately and transparently say every single walk-in tub is going to cost X, because there's so much variable within that purchase decision. The installation alone has a lot of variability to it, and then the model itself, as Eric pointed out, based on the additions to it, there's variability there. So in general, we don't see most consumers getting a walk-in tub for under $10,000 with installation included. On average, we probably see that number looking more like $20,000, and that can go up or down, again, based on all the things that Eric covered there, which is why financing plans are so important. Across the consumers who we help connect with brands, we actually see very few go through getting Medicare or any kind of tax aid. Most go through financing plans or can pay outright. Now, the good thing about financing plans is that there are a lot of options out there, as Eric said, and for any financing plan that a brand offers you directly, there may be others that you can go explore on your own. So that's part of what we try to help consumers with as well. We have a personal loans network of lenders. HELOCs are always an option. Home equity loans are always an option. Reverse mortgages are always an option. So there's a lot of options out there to help you finance this purchase, particularly if it is a high need purchase. Then it's one that you want to figure out how to make happen. But this is one of the trickiest topic areas when it comes to the purchase of the walk-in tub, as we see many consumers go through this wrestling match on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I would just add also, it's probably the number one question that we get with our customers is what is the cost? And, I don't know if we're covering the next slide, but I can walk through kind of like, how to get to cost in terms of like, the in-home assessment and things like that, where we can.
Yeah,
Yeah, now's a great time to cover that. I was going to say, I think it sounded like the bottom line is we still just aren't able to give our viewers like, here's a dollar amount. It's going to require getting that installer or that sales specialist into the home and set an appointment and really go over all of the each individual's
Yeah.
unique
And so
circumstances.
this is a good time to cover this, right? So if the number one question to what is the cost is that's coming from the customers, it's actually the number one thing that we struggle to answer for the most part. And the reason being is because, especially in the bathroom, it's really hard to see what the scope of work entails. You really do need to have someone come in, a specialist come in, take the measurements, see what can be fitted into your bathroom, see where the plumbing is, see where the electrical outlets are, see where everything is sort of laid out, and see what the complexities that the installers will have to deal with. So, it's hard to say what that scope of work is going to be without going in and saying, oh, this is going to be a 2-day job, or we're going to have to move a window, or we're going to have to retile or move plumbing, or we're going to have to install a new GFI outlet into the bathroom. Those are things that are unknown and vary from customer to customer. So what most walk-in tub providers do is they offer an in-home assessment. And the in-home assessment is exactly for that. A person's going to come in, they're going to meet with you, they're going to discuss all the options that they have. Typically, they come in with samples, so you can touch and feel the types of products that we're going to be installing. You can go through the range of add-ons that are there. But more importantly, they're going to do a scope of work assessment. They're going to take dimensions, they're going to take sizes, they're going to ensure the right bathtub can be installed, that there's enough mobility space to be moving around. And typically with this process is, from that assessment, there is a quote given. And this is what the product costs with all the add-ons. Here's what all the discounts are that we can apply. Here's what the installation cost is going to be. And here's a breakdown of the reasons why, because we have to do plumbing, da, 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 da. Now, for us, we do this at no charge, right? This is a free in-home assessment. There are companies and other people that charge for this assessment, right? If you think about an interior designer or other people that could be within the space, and you're like, well, it cost me $300 for it to come out and do the assessment. So in my mind, I like free stuff. I would take full advantage, whether you purchase it or not. You're getting your dimensions done, you're getting your scopes done, you know exactly what your bathtub sizes can fit into your bathtub, and you're getting sort of an understanding of the scope of work that's going to be needed to be done. If there are providers that you're talking to that are charging for that amount, I would caution against that, or working with them, because it could be the case that you decide that you don't want to move forward with this customer. Maybe you want to get additional quotes or anything like that. Well, you just paid for a service that you could have just gotten for free. So to address the complexities of the cost, it really boils down to that scope of work assessment that really needs to be done. Now, the industry is moving to utilize technology to help this, but they're not there yet, right? This is things like 3D renderings and visualizers and user submission of sizes and dimensions. All of those things are in the works, where I think the industry as a whole is trying to embrace technology to be able to do that. But again, what if you get the dimensions wrong? What if the app, doesn't pick up the right renderings, or, all of these kind of variables that could occur? I'm not an expert in doing sizes and dimensions. I'm probably the worst at it. Whenever I try to hang a picture frame or something like that, I always get it wrong. So the industry's not quite there yet. Maybe in a couple of years that they will be, but for now, I would encourage, if you're looking for a cost, embrace a free in-home assessment, meet with the person. They don't take too long, and you're left usually, I mean, we leave our customers with a firm quote. That quote is good for 30 days if you choose to move forward with the installation. If not, that's okay. And maybe it gives some kind of comparison that you can do for other other companies that are out there. But to solve the cost question, do the free in-home assessment. It's worth the time.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I would echo that. The only thing I'd add is, or the thing I would emphasize that Eric shared was, if you are being charged for that, or if you have any kind of red flags that pop up, research other brands, look elsewhere. It's why when someone comes through our flow and answers a bunch of questions, we actually try to match you with at least 2 options so you can really compare and get the right product fit for you. So do your research, and we're trying to help you do as much of that as possible.
And the installation of walk-in tubs is the last big area we're going to cover. Who does it? How big of a mess is it going to make? And do you need to make plumbing or electrical upgrades first? And if so, who handles that part? Eric, again, could you walk us through maybe what a standard installation scenario might look like once the homeowner has signed on the dotted line?
Yep, absolutely. I think, and I think one of the things that is almost like all of our companies that are in the industry of bath remodeling, I don't think we do a great job of explaining this process to the customer. At least not upfront, but typically the installation is handled by an installation team. And if it is a proper installation team, they are licensed and certified. If they are not licensed and not certified, I would caution against having them install. Now, of course, it's like, well, how do we know if they're licensed and certified? Ask the question during the in-home consultation. Who is doing the installation? Are they certified? Are they licensed? Because the training that has to go through in order to become a licensed installer, not only is there regulations that they have to pass through, but most certified installers, like for us, they go through rigorous training in order to handle an installation. We just covered the complexities of how each bathroom is different, right? And those complexities have to be all kind of trained for. So our installers are, not only licensed, but they're certified by us through rigorous training that they have to update every single year. It covers all different styles of bathrooms from an installation perspective, but it also covers, how do you get a tub upstairs? How do you lift it in a way so that you don't nick a wall or damage a stairwell, or all of those kind of complexities. So there's 2 components to the process. The first part is going to be a design consultant. That person that would come into the home, they're not going to be your installer. Rarely would they be your installer. They are going to be there to take measurements, go through options, present to you all the numbers, and then typically what follows after that is the installation team that is paired with that design consultant, who then schedules the install at a time that's right for you. The installation itself, this is probably the second question that we get, is how long is that installation? And the answer is, again, depends on the complexity of the bathroom. These are harder to install than a normal bathtub. There is components, if you are looking at aromatherapy, chromotherapy, heated seats, jets, all those things, that the quick drain, they require an electrical component to this. So when you have an electrical component to it, you're not only talking about a plumbing job, but you're also talking about an electrical job as well. So, and I'll go back to the point about the handling the installation. If there is an electrical component to this, you're probably going to have a certified electrician that's going to be paired with those installers to get the electrical work done, or that plumber is going to be a certified electrician as well. So they can handle both. And so for our install teams, everyone has the electrical component. So we are always, either pairing with an electrician, or in most cases, the plumbers are trained in electrical work as well. But back to the time for an installation, it's not a day. It'd be great. Some cases it might be a day. But most of the time it would be 2 to 3 days. I would say most jobs can be done in 2 days. The higher complexity ones are 3 days. If it starts to go beyond 3 days, there might be a red flag, because it could be that the installers are not working fast enough, or maybe they ran into complexities, or maybe they're not certified and they don't know what they're doing, and that could be the case as well. So when you think about installation times, you also think about, well, how long, am I going to be out of a bathroom? Well, if it's the only bathroom in the house, that could be the case that you're down a bathroom. Now, I'll cover that in the disruption bullet point, but the time, it really depends on a number of factors, but complexity being the most one. And plumbing and electrical upgrades are always going to be a consideration here, and they're going to factor into the installation time. So, when if you look at the picture on the screen, the plumbing for that tub would be on a left-facing drain. It would be something that you would need to make sure that the drain is on the left, where your plumbing is. But there might be times where it's not set up that way, and the plumbers need to move the drain, and they're going to have to adjust the piping to be able to fit the drain into that location. So that would be sort of an additional complexity to it. And we talked about the electrical upgrades that are needed as well. If you are buying a baseline tub, right? No heated seats, no jets, no quick drain. You're just buying a tub. Probably you could get this done in a day, assuming no complexities around the scope of work that's being. But as I said before, at the very least, I would be looking at quick drain as a feature that I would want in my bathtub. So it may require plumbing and electrical upgrades. Certainly for us, I would almost say with certainty there is a plumbing and electrical connection that needs to be made. It just depends on how far the GFI outlet is to the bathtubs to be able to connect the tub. You don't want to have a wire hanging out from your bathtub to connect to the, something like you're charging your phone or something like that. It's not going to look good, and it's also going to be dangerous. And then what do I do with the old tub or anything? And this is maybe a broader question, is like, is my bathroom, am I going to have like a garage filled with like all of my old plumbing stuff? And if you're working with a proper installer and service provider here, the answer is no. They should be removing everything out of the bathtub that they took out, and they'll probably they may offer, if you wanted to keep it or not, that's fine. But in most cases, they're going to take all of that with them. Everything that they did from a demolition standpoint, everything that they did from a construction standpoint. This is an investment into your bathroom. The goal and the expectations that the customer should have is that they are thrilled with a sparkly, shiny new bathtub, complete with exactly how they wanted it, with nothing left over in the house or in the bathroom, or anything that even reminded them that they had a remodel done in the first place. Now, if you do want your old tub, or you do want fixtures or something like that, and you wanted to save it, just tell your installer at that time. I'm sure that they will move it to a location that you prefer. But I would say that's a very rare occasion that happens. Again, I would caution that if you're working with a less reliable provider and they're not offering to, remove these things, I would caution against working with those providers. because this should be a service that is just free of charge. Just like you do any remodeling or anything else, we should have minimum kind of collateral that is left over from that installation.
And Eric, you would recommend ensuring that that conversation takes place even in the appointment, the initial appointment with the brand, correct?
I would recommend that all of these questions be addressed in the front. Don't be afraid to ask. And this is the reason why I think the in-home assessment is so critical, because it gives a point in time where you can ask these questions. Who's handling the installation? Are they licensed? Are they certified? What kind of training do they go through? What is the average installation time? All of these kind of conversations can happen upfront with that in-home design consultant that is there. And as far as disruption is concerned, this should be sort of minimum, but it is dependent on your amount of bathrooms that you have. If you have multiple bathrooms in the house, probably not going to feel as much of a disruption as if you just have one bathroom and you're just doing and that's the only room that you can use. Without a doubt, your water will be turned off for a certain period of time. They just need to turn the water off in order to do the installation. So that will leave you without a shower or a toilet. You'll have the toilet working for a certain amount of time, but then it will not be able to flush regularly. Rarely does that kind of extend to extended periods of times. They'll turn it off when they need to turn it off, and then they should turn it back on so that they can avoid that disruption. And again, it's just complexities around the scope of work that's needed to be done. I want to make one other comment. The electrical upgrades and the plumbing upgrades and the quick drain. The quick drain is great as a benefit because you can get in and out of the tub quickly. But if you are looking at these base models that don't offer quick drains or anything like that, I think you need to understand that, when this bathroom door closes and the water is filled and you don't have a quick drain and there is sort of an emergency that may occur, you're kind of stuck in that bathroom without an ability to get out unless you're climbing over the top, which if you're buying one of these products, you don't have the mobility to be able to do that anyway. So if you're looking at value-driven products that can solve for something on a budget, I really, really encourage a quick drain to be in whatever product you choose, because there is something that happens. You can drain the bathtub quickly by pressing a button, and you can go about your day. I mean, this could be as simple as somebody knocking on your door, or maybe you left cookies in the oven. I don't know what the scenario could be, but how many times have you been disrupted from your daily life cycle to deal with sort of an emerging kind of issue that might be happening around the house. So that's why, I would plan for electrical upgrades in the plumbing, and I would kind of look at quick drain as being, essential in the purchase decision.
We had one question come in here that this is a good time to address it because it ties right in with installation. Question about water heaters, if upgrades are needed there. Beforehand.
Yeah, this is a great question, and I'm glad it was brought up. So this is something that you should bring up in the in-home design, the consultation. Our process is normally taking a look at the water heater, because there's a lot of water volume that this tub can hold, a lot, and it is contingent upon how much hot water you have in your water heater. Right? So if you have a water heater that's very small, because you have a small water heater or whatever the case is, the amount of hot water that you are able to push into the tub is going to be contingent upon the volume and capacity of the water heater. Now, this is something that is covered in the in-home consultation usually. Look at the water heater. They'll look at the volume of the tub, and it's a simple math for most of the design consultants to say, can this water heater take care of this volume of tub? Part of the in-home assessment covers that, and they'll limit the options that you're able to purchase to maybe a smaller walk-in tub if you're not willing to do a water heater replacement. But one of the things that we do, and maybe other people do as well, is during that assessment, we'll offer to do the water heater replacement if needed as well. We'll give you that option. We'll also give you the option of, hey, your water heater can't hold this level of water, so we're going to recommend a smaller tub if you're not, looking to replace your water heater at the time.
All right, great. Jay, did you have anything to add here before we move on?
No, I think Eric covered it beautifully.
Perfect. We'll jump into some questions now. We had a few submitted ahead of time by some of our registrants today. This question comes from Lenore. She asks, I also hear of walk-in showers. Aren't most showers walk-in already by default? What's the deal with that?
Yep, it's a good
And
question.
Eric, actually, as you cover this question, could you also potentially hit on, because we didn't actually cover it on the cost section, but one of the cost considerations is a walk-in shower, an option instead of a walk-in tub. And so it'd be great if you could just kind of talk to that a little bit as well.
Yeah. So I'll cover both topics. So this is also a walk-in shower, and maybe the industry kind of coined the phrase, but we didn't do a good job of explaining it, right? Most showers are walk-in, right? You walk into a shower. You're not being like lifted into the shower. You're not, doing anything else besides walking into the shower. What the industry means when they say walk-in shower, they're talking about the threshold on the bottom. Now, rarely do we kind of look down, but in this case, a walk-in shower has a zero threshold, which means there's zero threshold between the floor and the shower that a person has to cross through. Now, that is the term of a walk-in shower. You can walk right into it. Now, why is that different than a regular shower? Because regular showers have a lip, and that lip is designed, the edge of the shower is designed to capture water in a way that eliminates the water from going over or spilling. So when the industry says walk-in shower, what they mean is a shower that is zero or close to zero threshold as possible, so that the entry and exit is easy for a person with mobility, because an entrance for a walk-in shower, a regular shower, you still have to step over the lip of the bathtub or shower. And we already covered that the bathtub or the bathroom is the most dangerous place in the household for seniors. Balance is always an issue, and strength is always an issue. So when you're going onto one foot and you're shifting your balance to try to step over those shower edges, it can cause risk, especially when you start to factor in water and other kind of things, rugs, anything that could kind of complicate that transition. So a zero threshold shower is an option. Typically, they're less expensive than a walk-in tub because they're more functionally driven. Some of these showers now have innovation that's happening with them. There's a lot of Bluetooth technology that's happening with them. Some of them have steam components. We offer walk-in showers as well. They could be a consideration if you are on a budget, or if you're, prefer taking showers over baths. This could be a solution if you're looking for something that can keep you in your home longer and safer and independent. The other thing that I would say is that for a zero threshold shower, if you are severely impaired in terms of mobility, and there is sort of a wheelchair that needs to be factored into the entrance and exit of a shower, this is a solution. A walk-in bathtub would not be a solution in this scenario for a wheelchair person, but you could roll it in because there's zero threshold or close to zero threshold. Typically that's covered with a shower bench, and then you do a side transfer from your chair to the bench, and the controls are set up on the bench to the side, so you can turn your water off and on. So I think we as an industry don't do a great job of explaining this in a meaningful way, but That's the difference when we talk about showers and walk-in showers.
Great. Next question comes from James in Texas. He asks, is there a warranty? What do warranties cover and for how long?
Yeah, warranty is a big one, and this is something that you should bring up in your, not only on your decision-making process at the time of consultation and all those kind of touch points during the process. But warranty is a big consideration. Now, there's a lot of manufacturers that are out there. There are people that are making showers. There are people that are installing showers, and it's important to know that there's two components here. There's the service work that's being done to install the shower or the tub, and there's also the product. Now, a warranty can include a warranty on the product. It can include a warranty on the service, or it can include both. And it's important to understand the differentiation between who you're talking to and what kind of warranty that they are providing. It differs from everyone who's providing the solutions and in terms of what it covers and for how long. It's a lot easier for a manufacturer of the products who's also doing the service provider to be able to offer a stronger warranty because they're the ones making the product. So other people that are not making the product and just kind of providing the installation of a third-party product that they don't manufacture, they're kind of stuck with the warranty that the manufacturer provides to them. And maybe you're getting that as well, but that does bring complexity in if there is ever a problem, right? So if you have someone who's installing a third-party shower or bath and there's a problem with the product, they may say, you know what, here's the call, here's the 800 number to XYZ company that manufactured it. You've got to talk to them. So you have to understand that, what your warranty is that you're getting and what you're providing. Now, we are the manufacturer, we are the provider as well. So it's very easy for us to offer a very strong warranty on both the installation and the product. And we're a 150-year-old brand. And I am just, trying to kind of communicate that research your brands when you're talking to people. The stronger the brands that are out there are probably going to be able to offer you a stronger warranty. We offer a limited lifetime warranty on the bathtub and the installation. So that means if you're a customer for ours, you're a customer for life. We will take care of whatever problems that arise from whether it's a installation or a product. We'll make it right.
Our next question, we've definitely covered this already about an emergency and stuck in a tub full of water. We can skip through that because you've obviously covered on the fast drain technology. Opening the door might not really be an option, right? It's kind of
Yeah, that's an important note, I think, Ryan, because there is no world in which you're opening the door and getting everything wet because that door is sealed shut by the pressure of the water. So that's the importance of that quick drain.
Yep. There is a door seal, and this is a component of the walk-in tub that helps keep the water in. And that door seal, should it ever fail, will leak out water. Most companies now would, check with who you offer, just offer a non-negotiable lifetime warranty on the door seal. Like, it's not limited, door seal breaks, you got to come and fix it. But yeah, if you were to open the door, everything would get wet, but you can't because the pressure from the water is holding the door closed. And, the only way you can rapidly, reduce that is through the quick drain.
The last question submitted in advance, we had Barbara asking, how much weight does a walk-in tub support? Asking for larger individuals.
Yep. This is a good question as well. And most walk-in tubs can hold a large capacity of a person. There's different sizes for all the walk-in tubs that are out there. And they hold, large people. There's even tubs that are out there that are made tandem where two people can sit in and enjoy kind of a walk-in tub together. that is, that's a larger, you have two people, right? So it's a lot more capacity that is needed. I would generally say that normally a walk-in tub, and it depends on size to size, can hold a fairly large person. But it just depends on the options. You'll cover those options in an in-home assessment to understand what's the right size of bathtub for you. There are also walk-in tubs. I think we may be one of the only companies that provide this, but we manufacture a bathtub with an outward opening door. Now, this bathtub is the largest bathtub that we sell and is great for people that have, that are larger individuals that even exceed the capacity of the normal walk-in tub. Because the problem with the walk-in tub isn't necessarily the fact that a larger individual cannot sit in there. That's not the issue. The issue is the entranceway, because it's an open space. You've got to open the door inwardly and then step in. Now, if you're a larger individual, you need more space in that entryway to get in. And that's what the outward opening door models provide, is that larger space for a larger individual to get in. But once they're in, usually, there's, especially with the outward opening door models, we could hold, sort of any capacity. I don't know if there's like weight thresholds, but certainly vary model to model. But definitely look at the door entrance, to the tub, as being kind of the barrier to entry when you're talking about larger individuals.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions to get through today. But Eric, before we go, I'll certainly open the floor to you if you'd like to leave our viewers with any final thoughts about American Standard.
Yeah, I mean, American Standard is a provider for walk-in tubs and showers, and we do traditional bathroom models. We've been in the business for 150 plus years. We're celebrating our 150 year anniversary actually this year. But instead of kind of promoting the brand, what I wanted to just reiterate is a couple of takeaways, right? This is an important decision for someone in the house. This is going to make them live independently, comfortably, and they'll have the peace of mind. Whether you're buying it for a loved one, or you're a caregiver, or you're the end user of the product, it's a big decision to make. And there's a lot of factors that have to come into the equation. So if I could leave you with like 3 or 4 like takeaways when you're purchasing these products. Number one, research your brands that you're working with. Are they reliable? Are they well known? Do they manufacture their own products? What type of service, and options can they provide? 2, take advantage of the in-home assessment. Definitely work with someone who's offering a free in-home assessment to cover the costs, because there's a lot of unknowns and a lot of complexities that are happening. Rather than trying to spend endless nights on the internet and trying to do the research and asking ChatGPT and whatever you're doing from a research perspective, just to, take advantage of that assessment. It's going to give you a clear direction of, do I need a larger water heater? What are the sizes? What's the scope of work? Is the plumbing accurate? Like, all those things can be covered up front. Number 3, when you are, looking at the walk-in tub, and after you've done your in-home assessment, review the contract. You don't have to say yes right there, then and there. Usually, it's the quote is good for 30 days. You should be able to kind of spend some time to think about it if you need to. And the 4th that I would say is, look at what is good for you, not only from a budget perspective, but forward think a little bit, right? So if you're looking for a baseline model of a bathtub, think about those scenarios where, hey, maybe I have to answer a door, or maybe someone's calling on the phone or something like that. Look at the quick drain, look at the ability for a tub to drain rapidly. And the last one that I would say is ConsumerAffairs is a great depository of user reviews. and research, if you're looking for kind of firsthand accounts of testimonials and things like that. They do a great job of reviewing all different types of products, and typically, are a great source to help, get through that initial decision-making process.
Great. Thanks for that so much, Eric. Really, really helpful stuff today. Jay, did you have any final closing thoughts here?
I just want to thank Eric for his time. I think we were really lucky to have American Standard as a partner and have Eric and his wealth of knowledge available. Our pursuit of trying to educate consumers, especially on some of these more tricky, opaque purchases that are not common decision making that they have to go through every day. This is one of the biggest ones that I think I would identify within our set of product categories that is a really once in a lifetime decision that no one really knows a lot about. And so I really thank Eric for his time today and sharing his knowledge.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly hope today's been valuable in everyone's research. We'll make this recording available to those of you who attended if you'd like to look back at it, and anyone else. And we wish you the best in your walk-in tub journey. Remember, visit consumeraffairs.com. Check out our extensive walk-in tub buyer's guide, tens of thousands of verified consumer walk-in tub reviews, and much more. That wraps it up. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Ryan.